What's up, everybody? It's your boy J Mac, and welcome to Bigfoot Input Live. Big 420. You better check out the latest footage from Ontario. That is the hottest thing out right now. You know what would be really hot is if I could get this camera situated the way I want it. Hi, Kathy, Bigfoot World. Welcome. A little bit of a slow start tonight. There's no more Christmas tree or Eddie or Freddy or anything to point the camera at. So we had to come up with a new setup. Sipping a little Grolsch tonight. Oh, thank you, Lemon's Cure. I appreciate that. I just kind of threw that together last minute. Give you guys something to look at while we're chatting. Yeah, that's my Zen Bigfoot. I got him, I don't know, 2 years ago, I think. There's a couple beers up there, Sasquatch beers. I think I got both of those in New Jersey. And if you look up in the bamboo, you'll see another Bigfoot up there. That's new. My Q just got that for me recently because of this setup. Well, let's see, guys. What's going on out in the world? Not too much news since we last talked. There is some new footage that I have not gotten a chance to dig into yet, so that's my bad. A lot of things going on in the personal life right now that I have to take care of. So when I get the opportunity, I'll dig into that footage and we'll get it posted. We did put out a new video today, though. We were getting some comments talking about some of those pictures that the skeptics would write off as pareidolia. So, the more blurry pictures, the more kind of gritty, real pictures that come when you're in the field carrying a camera with you, So, but a lot of people were saying, like, hey, we can't really see what you're seeing. Can you tell us what's up? Can you show us? So I actually got this cool, I have a wireless mouse. So I bought this thing. It's a USB to a Type-C adapter. And so I put that into my phone, and now I can use a cursor on my phone. So, and I can record the whole thing. So it was cool. I think we did a deep dive on like 5 pictures. Oh, you're welcome, Kathy. All the time. Yeah, your field research is some of the hottest stuff going on right now. Seriously. So it's very cool. Very cool stuff. But yeah, that gives me the opportunity to actually deep dive into those pictures where people are going, well, wait, what are you talking about? What are you seeing? I don't see it. So I think some of those are the best pictures. And I don't want to miss those. Sorry guys, Facebook Live is giving me a hard time tonight for some reason. Facebook. Yeah, that's why YouTube Live. Sorry. YouTube. Some guy was asking me about my thoughts on the, he called him a pie stealer from Mayaka. I think it was actually like apples or something. But the pictures of the skunk ape that's showing its teeth, and the lady got 2 pictures of it. I mean, they're fairly famous pictures. I'm sure everyone has seen them by now. But you know, those pictures are some of the most concrete evidence of the skunk ape I think we've ever seen. And if you do a little digging on primate behavior, monkey primates, they'll gnash their teeth in aggression, but they'll show their gums in submission. So when he showed his teeth to that woman, he was basically just telling her, "Hey, you caught me. I mean you no harm." Hello, welcome Valerie. If anybody has any topics they want to talk about, any questions, feel free. It's an open forum. Throw it out there. I think we just dropped episode 11 of the cryptid picture reactions. So if you guys are into that sort of thing, that's kind of one of the things that established us on YouTube, really. They've always been the most popular videos. And so our other episode, like I said, episode 11 came out last week. Are you really? Kathy from Bigfoot World is, if you guys don't know, is one of our Central Florida researchers who's really out in the field, doing a lot of work, bringing us back a lot of footage. So we appreciate that, and I'll be excited to see what comes back off of that. It was a nice day for it, huh? I mean, nice day to be out in Florida. I mean, it was cold, but not like I'm complaining it was cold. It was just not hot. So let's see. I don't know, Valerie. I mean, there's the Independence Day footage, which is definitely a mother and juvenile. You can see the juvenile's head move independently from the mother. It's pretty impressive footage. Um, Now I could. There's probably 100 stories about people seeing and interacting with families of Sasquatch. But as far as getting a family on film, well, there's not too many instances of that. No, not really. I don't believe that. Um, I mean, no. When you get into some of these states, like I'm going to use Nevada as an example. There's too much flat land, there's not enough tree cover, there's not enough cave systems. When you find the states that have those things, they have a active food source, they have cave systems, they have deep forests. That's where you're gonna find the Sasquatch. People. Just today, somebody was asking, well, why does the Pacific Northwest have so much activity? Because it meets all those criterias. It checks all those boxes. A creature that large, much like grizzly bear and black bear, have to have a food source that's sustainable, and they have to have tree cover. And if you believe, like I do, that they are subterranean, then they need to have access to a cave system for them to hide. And I think avoid harsh climates and stuff like that too. Now, I would say that there are probably Sasquatch in more states in the U.S. than not. I think that's a fair statement. But to say that they're in every state, well, nah, not really. Certainly not like Hawaii. I said I brought up Nevada. I would almost say like Southern Cal and Arizona and that area. The desert. Anywhere there's desert like that, you're not going to find a Sasquatch in the desert. So that pretty much answers that. But if you've got mountainous terrain, I'm not entirely sure what the big attraction is in Florida for these skunk apes, other than I think they were just bred here. Florida doesn't have a lot to offer. I mean, we have some big wooded expanses, but not like the northwestern states, or northeast for that matter. But they are down here. They are out in the woods. Kathy has brought back proof of that. If you want to hear a really entertaining story about skunk apes, I want to say it was the second Bigfoot and Booze episode that we did. It's like way back at the beginning of our when we started on YouTube. There's a really cool story that comes right out of my neighborhood, right here in the Ocala National Forest. And it's a very cool story about a guy who is pretty well accosted by a skunk ape. He wasn't physically hurt, but he was definitely, the skunk ape let it be known that he didn't appreciate him being there. Put it that way. But that was more of a species, protecting its young rather than any sort of violence. Yeah, Kathy, my Q and I, we go out on nature walks, as much as possible now. Unfortunately, she had a knee injury, so we're waiting on that to heal. And when that heals, we're going to be back out there. I miss it. We haven't been out in a long time. But I'll tell you what, we probably went out just, I don't know, let's say 10 times in that 1 year. And I think we had two different instances where one we found a footprint and the other one we kind of got barked at by something, and we can't really to this day tell you exactly what it was, but it wasn't like anything I've ever heard before. Now, if I'm being frank, we don't go as far off path as you do. Okay. I've seen your videos. I mean, you're out there. um, but that's where they are. But yeah, we like to find the wooded paths, the just so you're not gonna get lost, and we'll go and take the path and then come back and do a couple miles. I hope that you're carrying like rattlesnake venom, anti venom, and like a snake bite kit is what I should say. Stuff like that out there with you. That's some pretty harsh terrain out there, and if you were to get bit by a snake, uh, you'd have to hightail it to the nearest hospital, which is pretty far away. Yeah, I mean, even the nature walks that I go on, like I won't go out there without bear mace, and stuff like that. And I know like black bears are not aggressive in the state of Florida. They're kind of like, I don't want to say puppy dogs, but they're not really aggressive. But if you were to come up accidentally on a mother and her cubs, if you turn the wrong corner and there's a mother and her cubs, um, you're gonna be in danger. So it's one of the things that I worry about for sure. And as far as the snakes go, man, I mean, you don't even know they're there, and you accidentally step on one, and boom, you're getting nailed. But all that being said, I mean, you seem to have your own system and it works for you, and I don't think you've ever had an issue that I'm aware of. So, hey, what the hell do I know? Rock on. The the Pennsylvania Bigfoot site that I'm involved with, um, they have quite a few members, and they have these campouts where everybody sort of brings their RV or their tent or whatever they want to do, and they meet in the certain areas, and then they'll branch out from there and they'll do some exploring and stuff like that. I mean, that sounds like a neat idea. You know, I'm admittedly not much of an outdoorsman as far as like camping and stuff, but I would definitely show up and like do the exploring and do the field research and stuff like that, and then turn around and go home to my bed. I don't like sleeping on the ground, you know. But if I had an RV, I guess that would be cool. Hey, welcome to the chat, everybody. It's an open forum, so if you have anything you want to say, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them out there. Yeah, like I said, one of these days when we're, back on our feet and we're both healthy, um, we would definitely take it up on that. We would go. That would be cool. Hey, it's Ryan, I believe, right? From Monster Radio. What's up, buddy? We are just chewing the fat and shooting the shit, talking about Bigfoot and whatever anybody wants to talk about. So let's talk about a Wendigo, right? Like, they seem to be like almost open for interpretation. I mean, people will talk about them being skinwalkers, whatever the hell that is. Or I've even heard of something as far as a Sasquatch wearing, uh, I don't want to say a headdress in the way that a Native American would wear one, but like taking deer antlers and basically making a head decoration. So, what is your interpretation of the Wendigo? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that like that didn't originate in the United States, right? Isn't that like more of a Canadian thing? Right, right. I think that the Wendigo is so often misrepresented in the media and movies and stuff like that. I think it's hard to like. Most people have never even heard of it. Let's be honest. And then the people that have, everybody has their own interpretation of what it is. Have you ever saw that movie Antlers? Did you really? Um, I had to watch it a couple times just to get through it. it didn't really hold my interest all that much, and I thought it was a weird representation of the Wendigo. But again, like I say, there's always room for interpretation when it comes to these things. So we were having a discussion the other day that was basically aimed at when the government, I hate to even say the government. I don't want to sound like a tinfoil hat guy, but like when the powers that be decide that they want us to know something, that it's time for us to know something, they slowly incorporate it in the media and in movies to where it feels normal. And when I say slowly, I mean over like a 30-year period. They'll slowly sort of just inject things here or there, and they'll make it very normal. So I think we've gotten to the point now where lights in the sky, UFO, whatever the hell they call them something else these days. I can't even remember. But it's become very normal. It's just you now all of a sudden you hear military guys talking about it, and I think we always naturally just trust military guys more than the average Joe. And they're talking about it, and it's unclassified. So slowly these stories are coming out. I guess my point to that kind of rant was that at what point do they start digging into our interests, our wheelhouse, and start normalizing these things? And I think that if you look at mainstream movies, maybe not even mainstream, that's probably not the right word, but like now all of a sudden you see more movies about Bigfoot and Sasquatch and stuff like that. You never saw that back in the day. I mean, there was some like $6 million man, and there was another Bigfoot interpretation, but not as prevalent as it is now. Yeah, I mean that's true as well. Like we can absolutely just put out whatever interest we have out into the world now, and there's always a handful of people that'll pick up on it. I think it's becoming more normal conversation. That's the thing. Like, back then, 30, 40, 50 years ago, I mean, you couldn't really even talk about this. I should extend that because I'm older than I remember, but so 50, 60 years ago, you couldn't talk about certain things, Exactly. It was taboo. Which is great. Like we've become more of an open society where we can talk about whatever and not concern ourselves with the ridicule. There's less of it. But also, on the other hand, I think the internet has just made us pretty callous. We don't, we're not as jaded. We're more jaded now. Like we don't care as much if somebody insults us on the internet. So what? It's like, nah. Last week, some guy named Mountaineer told me that I was a joke. that I was making everyone that believed in Bigfoot look like an idiot. I'm not even sure, dude. I didn't ask. I didn't get into it with him, you know. I find it, somebody had made the point one time. If you remember, if you've watched my videos for a while, you remember that when I first started, I would always post the negative comments that came in. And I only ever did it because I thought they were funny. You know what I'm saying? Um, I was laughing at them. That was the only reason. But somebody had made a really good point. They said the more that you do this, the more people will feel like they want to make the negative comments. The negative will attract negative. They'll do it just for giggles, just to be on your next video. And I stopped doing it. And since then, I have received, the negative comments have went down 75%. So I think whoever, I wish I knew who told me that. Someone, but they were right. Yeah, they were right. By me posting those comments, it was giving those people their little soapbox to stand on, and they could, have their own moment. And yeah, people are funny like that, So yeah, now I get some comment. I get a lot of positive comments, and I don't broadcast all of them, but every once in a while, somebody will say something that's really cool that we have to share. A good example of that, just this past week, I got 2 comments. I'm going to do just that, Ryan. I'm going to do just that. So I got 2 comments this week that have changed the shape of the channel. And it's very cool. One guy was saying, he goes, man, I really like these cryptid reaction videos. I just wish they were all in a playlist so I could see all of them at the same time. And if I'm honest, I had no idea what that guy was talking about. I was like, what the hell is a playlist? So I went and Googled it, and then I came back and I sorted all of my stuff into playlists. And I thought that was so cool of that guy just to say it. He just made one little comment, but it was corrective criticism. And it was very cool. Yeah, it's not easy, right? I will tell you there's an easier way to do it than the way that I was shown. I was shown on Google to do it a certain way. No, you can go on there and click a bunch of videos and then put those into a playlist. But yeah, I never knew, and I never really knew the purpose of it. I was like, who cares if it's in a playlist? But the guy made it clear to me. He goes, well, if it was in a playlist, then I could see all of them in one spot, rather than dig through months of your videos. I was like, well, that makes sense. So I did it. I mean, it took me 10 minutes, and I did it. Yeah, exactly. Because if somebody watches your video and they go, man, that was great, I want to see that, more of that, but they have to dig through 20 videos to get to the next, the previous episode, they'd probably just give up, like, man, I don't have time for this. But having it in a playlist, yeah, click, 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 all the way down, Or maybe they do like a continuous play thing. I'm not really sure. Yeah, it's not that hard. And I think it is a good idea, actually. So that guy changed things for me. That was cool. And then there was a lady, I can't remember her name. I could go find the comment, but she said to me, she goes, I really enjoy your videos, but I wish that you could use your cursor on the screen to show me what it is you're seeing, because a lot of these blurry pictures, she goes, I'm just not seeing anything. She goes, you obviously see something that I don't, and I want to see it. And I thought, well, that's cool, because I know like Bigfoot Tony does that and stuff like that. You know, he's very good at that. You know, and that's his shtick. I let him have, you know, he can do that. But I thought there must be a way for me to do this. So I ended up doing some research. I bought a little like adapter that I needed, and now I can actually move my cursor on the phone screen and record it all. And do that. And I actually started a whole new segment called Blurry Pictures Deep Dive, because of the one comment this lady made. So I think if you pay attention to the comments, like, you can pull some really positive stuff out of there. Yeah, I should try that sometime. Actually do a live deep dive into the pictures. So back to what you had said. So you said you finally covered the skinwalkers. I'm gonna have to go check this video out. I am so uneducated when it comes to skinwalkers. I just don't. Yeah, I know a little bit about Skinwalker Ranch and stuff like that, and I just the whole subject just kind of tires me, if I'm honest. I'm like, meh. You know, I just don't know. It's not that it's not interesting. It's just, it's so broad. You know, it's like intimidating. So, I don't expect you to know this about me. In fact, I'm kind of letting a little secret go right now. But we are strongly entertaining the idea of a second channel. And if we do, it's going to be dark, mysterious, true crime, Mr. Ballin style type of channel. So one of the cases that I looked at, I'm probably going to make my first episode, but I want to get about 4 or 5 under my belt before I even think about launching a channel. But, yo, Mr. Barclay, what's up, Bob? So yeah, I want to get about 4 or 5 episodes. Anyway, my point was, one of the stories deals with the Department of Energy and nuclear fission and a lot of stuff that, you know, you don't necessarily talk about, you know. And what about that kid, the one kid that took a video of that giant up on the mountain? And then it was on TikTok. He claimed that he was being followed by black cars, and you know, he ended up putting a video out that claimed everything was a hoax, but his body language in the video was just like all wrong. You know, like he looked like he was being coerced into saying it. And then I haven't done my thorough research, so forgive me for just saying this, but the rumor on the internet is that he's dead now. And when you hear about stuff like that, you know, and you see the amount of government cover up, he offed himself. Right. See, and that's the thing. Was he? You know, every time somebody crosses the wrong person and something happens to them, they always end up having some history of mental illness or whatever, you know. And it makes you wonder, like, is that the truth? Like, are we being told the whole truth? Like the story that I'm going to cover when it comes out, you'll see, it doesn't paint our government in a very flattering light. What about the guy? Does anybody remember the guy that had the video of the engine that was hydro powered? And it was like the video was all over the internet for a while, and it was like, holy shit, this guy made an actual engine for a car that runs on water. You know, it was amazing. Next thing you know, this guy takes a sip of his cranberry juice, falls out. He runs out into his front yard, grabbing his throat and his chest, and he's choking. And his brother runs out of his house next door. What's wrong? The guy falls on the grass, and he's dying. And his last words are, "They got me. They killed me." And he just chokes and dies, and dies of a heart attack. And you know, I just don't think this shit is coincidental that this guy created something that really would have. And I'm not necessarily saying it was the government, but I mean, can you imagine how many lives would be, how many people, generations would be in ruins if there was such a thing as a hydropowered motor? And you know, same thing with Tesla. I mean, nobody wanted that. Edison didn't want to see that shit, you know, come to the light of day. So I'm just saying, it's just like, you know, these sort of things have power that we don't understand. Hey, welcome, JW Construction. And that's true. We have been brainwashed since birth. We've been taught that certain things are a certain way, and even at our freest of thoughts, I think we are still very much sheep because we don't know exactly how to administer, how to put those thoughts in action. You know, when you have people that are obviously controlling all the money in the world and controlling the power, and we just as a people cannot get under the same roof to fight those powers. We're either blue or we're red, or we're male or female, or we're homosexual, or whatever the hell we are. We're all under our own little canopies, and we're never going to come together. And so, you know, Ryan, I'm not even pointing the finger at the government. You know, I just think that there are powers that be. There are rich 1%, you know, clans of type of people that control things. And I don't want, you know, again, I don't want to really get into secret societies and all that, but yeah, there's people out there in the world, I think, that control certain things, and we won't even see their faces. We don't know who they are, and we never will. Hey, Bob, just so you know, if you don't already know, this will be a venue where you can reach me from now on, because our previous venue, I will no longer be there. Yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking about. When I met him, he was pretty normal. He was just a researcher doing research, you know. And he actually had some pretty solid stuff, I think, to this day that he does. But I also think that he has a lot of stuff that is complete bullshit. And yeah, it sells. You're right. It sells audio. It sells books. I think he drank the Kool-Aid. He got off of his real research and went down a path that just it's mind-boggling, dude. I'm sorry. One day I could be proven completely wrong, and if that happens, then it happens, and I'll welcome someone proving me wrong. I will, because I'm that's what I want. If I'm wrong, then tell me I'm wrong and prove that I'm wrong. But telling me that there's some portal in the middle of a tree and that's how Bigfoot, travels interdimensionally through these portals, just, you're not going to sell it to me like that. I'm sorry. Randall from Florida. Welcome, Randall. I am also from Florida. Old Bobby Barclay over there is from Florida. Let's see. Kathy from Bigfoot World is from Florida, if she's still around. Polk County. That sounds nearby. I myself am Volusia County / Lake County, right in the middle, right in the Ocala National Forest. Right? Isn't it? It is somewhere in Florida, right? I never really got into that movie, The Green Swamp. Yeah, absolutely. There's tons of sightings. In fact, some of the best. What's his name? Tim. Kathy, if you're listening, help me out. Tim something. He is out of the Green Swamp, and he's coming out with some pretty cool stuff. I never watched. I did watch the original Jeepers Creepers, but the director is like a total pedophile, so I wouldn't watch like the second one and the third. I dropped the whole series after that. I got out of it. Yeah, he's like another Roman Polanski, so. Sure. Yeah, Patterson-Gimlin is still some of the best physical evidence that we have. Unfortunately, surrounded by so much controversy that it takes away from the actual video itself. Yeah. So, what's funny about the Freeman footage, Ryan, is that it's copyrighted by Michael Freeman, his son. I didn't know that. I learned that because I tried to post the Freeman footage at being one of the best, videos of evidence ever taken, and YouTube tells me, yeah, you can post it, but any money that you earn off this video goes to Michael Freeman. So I was like, oh, all right, cool. Well, I'll post it anyway because it's awesome and it deserves being spread around the internet. But I was just a little surprised that that was the case. So. Yeah, you're right, Randall. Also, in 1967, when they made Planet of the Apes, they dressed all the apes in clothing because making suits for them would have just been a little too technologically advanced and way too expensive. Because to do a suit like Patty, you have to have a muscle suit, then you have to have the skin suit on top of the muscle suit. Because you can actually see her move as she walks. Okay? And, who okay, you just stole the words right out of my mouth, dude. Like, if we're gonna do, a Bigfoot suit, well, you got to put some tits on it. I just don't, I don't see the point there. I don't see who would have came up with that. It's too natural to like fake that. So Randall, if you want to hop back on this very channel about, I don't know, 2 months ago, you'll find the Freeman footage. You'll also find, oh, I've never heard that before. You'll also find the Freeman footage in our top 10 video. So basically, Paul Freeman was very dedicated in what he was doing. He had, Ryan, how many tracks do you think Paul Freeman had? I mean, he had hundreds. And just videoing the tracks. Yeah, he passed away quite a few years ago. He was old. Back in the 90s when that film came out, he was already, in his 80s. And he's just out in the woods one day following those damn tracks, and he would follow them all the time. And he never saw one, and then all of a sudden one day, you hear him say, he says, "Oh, I hear it crackling back there in the bush," and then all of a sudden, boom, there you go. Here comes this big male, and it had to be one of the greatest moments of his life. I just think he was. I mean, yeah, he was determined, but he was also one of the few, the privileged, that lived in an area that was Sasquatch active. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter how dedicated you are about going into the woods. If it's not an active Sasquatch spot, then you're just out of luck. Well, watch the Independence Day footage. That footage to me is impressive. Yeah, I know you do, right? You got the, how do you say that? Magolon? Magolon, the monster? I've seen that. Mogigon? Mogion? Mogollon? Yeah. Whatever. I have not myself, Randall. Yeah, but I said it like 18 times, Ryan. Which one was right? Mogollon? Is that what it Mogollon? Is that it? Mogion. Interesting. It's a weird way to spell it versus the pronunciation. So, Randall, what is the H.C. Green testimony? I've never even heard of this. Mogion? H.A. Miller. You know what? I know exactly who you're talking about. I think Bob Barclay has come and gone, but I think this is the guy that he was telling me about. H.A. Miller. Yeah, the guy was a whack job. I mean, that's easy to say, I guess. Frankly, I don't know that. He just comes across as being pretty freaking crazy. One day I'm gonna have an office, and I'm gonna stop hitting the stand that's holding the phone. Didn't he claim? Didn't he claim that he was like some sort of time traveler too? Like he had, I don't know, man. He had some outlandish shit. And you know, I was gonna do a video on the guy, the dog grooming guy. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? I can't remember his name. Um, but he's a dog, not groomer, dog trainer, and he's the guy that claims to have the frozen head of the Sasquatch. Peter Kane, thank you. That guy. Okay, I was totally gonna do a video on him because I thought to myself, if this guy is real, he is batshit crazy, right? So unfortunately, it turns out that all he really is a comedian. It's all satire. Like he's not even really that funny, but somebody told me, well, you clicked on his video, didn't you? And I said, well, you're damn right I did. Absolutely. He's got me there. I clicked on his video. Yes, he does make animatronics. That's absolutely right. President Bigfoot King. Welcome, Sheepdog. So, I came across a video. Yeah, because he made, he made that aqua frogman thing that he sleeps with because again he's a weirdo. But I came across a video that he claimed, now listen, this is for adults only, okay? So if I don't think there's any kids in here, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a disclaimer, this is a adults only. He made a video telling the story about how he was raped by a female Sasquatch. Okay, he was sexually molested by a Sasquatch. And he said that she came through the bush, she ripped his clothes off. She started jerking the ween. Okay, now these are his words, not mine. Okay, I would never stoop to such nomenclature. Okay, but yeah. So she was jerking the ween, I guess, and then she molested him. Yeah, and she gave him a rimmer. So yeah, at that point it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, this guy's not crazy. He's fucking weird. He's out of his mind, but he's a comedian. Again, it's satire. I don't even know that he has an actual dog training facility or anything like that. I don't think anything that he says is true. So, yeah, he's just a weird jokester. Yeah, she's pregnant now, so, and she's gonna expect child support. I guess in the form of nuts and berries or something. I don't know. Yeah, it kind of pissed me off though. Like I had a whole bunch of like pictures and like, I was gonna do a whole segment on it, man. I was like, oh hell yeah! And then I find out the guy's just being an asshole. One day, Randall, one day this will be like the Joe Rogan experience, where like I can just turn to some guy and be like, "Hey, look that up on the internet," and give me some, put it up here on the projector screen so I can check it out, and then we'll all go through it together, and that would be awesome. But as of right now, I'm a little low budget, so I don't have those type of technological advancements. So there is one thing though that I wish that we could put to bed. I wish we could put to bed the government conspiracy about Bigfoot. Okay? I get sick and tired of hearing about the government this, the government that about Bigfoot. Now look, does the government know? Yeah, most likely. Because there's been too many stories, especially about like Mount St. Helens, Ape Canyon, stuff like that, where government agencies are coming in and helicoptering out bodies and stuff like that. I think they know. But much like everything, they keep everything hush hush, right? But it is impossible to think that the government created Sasquatch. The reason I say that is because the legend goes back too far. It just goes back so far that it would be impossible. Ryan, weren't we just talking last time that you were here? Weren't we talking about that DNA? The cabin in the woods and the guys that put the screws in the plywood. Didn't that DNA come back as chimpanzee? Yeah, so I remember that guy, he paid a lot of money to have like the DNA tested and stuff, and it came back chimp. And that's not shocking to me. I mean, chimps are 6 times stronger than us. This is the chimp's cousin, you know? I've never heard that, Ryan. That owls were covered up. It's like the big owl conspiracy, the Who files. I mean, that's kind of cool, you know. Just make it like it doesn't exist and the species flourishes. That's kind of neat. No, I think you're absolutely right, Randall. I mean, sure, they've been here longer than us for sure. Of course, then again, you have to discuss, uh, mass extinctions and which time of us, and that's a whole big conversation that we're not going to get into tonight. But again, now keep in mind, if you are on the same page as I am, thinking that the Sasquatch is subterranean, which I almost think they have to be, right? They live in cave systems that we have no clue even exist. Then, if there were such a thing as a mass extinction due to, I don't know, hell, natural disaster or nuclear, whatever, I think that they would have a much better chance of surviving. Sure. Yeah, why not? I just think that there's so much of the United States, and I'm just going to talk about North America. I'm not going to talk about other countries because, frankly, I don't know enough about other countries to talk about them. But um, let's talk about North America and the cave systems that we have. I mean, how, like, I think, was it in Vietnam? Was it in recently? They just found, like, that cave system that has, like, its own ecosystem that we just didn't know about. It's massive. And we just had no clue. until now. We just found it. So in North America, there's probably, just hundreds of miles of cave systems underground that we have zero clue exist. And you think they're all empty? There's just nothing there. Um, Again, how do these creatures stay so elusive? I don't think it is portals or dimensions or, anything like that. I think it is very simply that they hide in cave systems. And I'm not going to go as far as they may have a cloaking system similar to chameleons, and even, ironically, you mentioned it, Ryan, owls. Owls are very hard to spot in the wild. They blend right in, and I truly believe that these Sasquatches, these skunk apes, have the same type of abilities. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, down here in Florida, we call them skunk apes for a reason. They stink, and that can either be a defense mechanism. It could be hygiene. It could also be some sort of mating, smell, the way that snakes and cats spray. Those smells mean different things for different creatures, and they're using it for something. So let me ask you guys a straight up question. And this is a hard question to answer. Okay? I've never heard that. I mean, I've my whole life I've heard they're called skunk apes because they smell bad. And they do. They smell like shit. Like I've heard hot garbage and all different things. So anyway, let me ask you guys a question. So for a guy like me, I am completely anti-zoo. I won't step into a zoo or Busch Gardens or SeaWorld, none of that stuff, right? Because I just feel that we vote with our dollars, and if you're handing over your money to these people, you're part of the problem. That's just me. I'm not judging you if you do, but my question is this. One day, when they capture a Sasquatch or multiple Sasquatches, and they decide to commercialize it by putting it in a zoo, will you plunk down your money to go see a Sasquatch? And it's a hard question because if you feel like I do, where you don't want to see an animal in captivity, I don't want to see any creature in captivity, I don't think it's right. Well, that's interesting, Randall. I mean, I don't know that we have any proof of that until it happens. It's because it's because they don't survive in captivity; they die. Yeah, but Ryan, do you really want a Sasquatch just loose in San Diego or something? I mean, you know, there's got to be ways of handling this sort of thing. I don't think you can just go cut the lock and let him loose. Uh, it's a sensitive situation. So Orion's a crazy bastard. He'll do it. Let him loose in Cincinnati. Uh, I don't know, man. I feel like you do, Randall. I don't know. I'd like to take the high road and say like absolutely not. I would never. But man, I mean, if they have a real live Sasquatch, the temptation to go see it is just, it's insane. I'd love to say absolutely not. I never would do that, and I will officially. If anyone's listening, officially, I'm against this, and I would never do it. But that would be so cool to see one. Yeah, I'd feel like a dirty bastard after I left. And I'd be like, oh man, I got my jollies, but now this poor Sasquatch is locked in this tiny little enclosure for the rest of its life. Hey, this would be a good time to test the portals theory. You know, if Sasquatch travels interdimensionally, then he could just beam his way right out of there. Is that like new school like Christian Bale Batman, or is that like old like cloth suit? Well, I don't even think I know the guy's name that played Batman back in the '60s. The Zoom Pow Bam guy. Adam West, thank you. Like I felt like I knew his name. I was like, you should know his name, but it just eluded me at the moment. Don't forget your gay Robin. Ryan's knocking out zoo attendants. Zoom. Pow. I gotta agree with you there, Christine. No animals in zoos. Free them all. Of course, there were rumors of this shape and it could be fun. Yeah, I just don't buy it, man. Like I maybe I'm too logical. On the subject of Sasquatch, I just cannot buy that they are a magical type of interdimensional travel or creature. This whole BS that they're associated with UFOs and aliens and orbs and come on, you guys. It's like we're taking one conspiracy and then we're combining it with another. Well, there you go, Randall. I mean, if that's the case, that's interesting enough, and I could see that being true, that it wouldn't survive in captivity. Yeah, yeah, Ryan. They're absolutely a type of primate. I mean, it's we don't have to get weird about this. People try to glamorize it so much. Wasn't only in like 2010, so it was only like seriously like 12, 13 years ago that we discovered those billy apes. The ones in Australia that are just walking around and nobody freaking knew they even existed. and they just found them. They're like, oh shit, there's these guys. Here's a bipedal primate that we didn't know about for the last hundreds of years, and we just found it. And we're like, okay, so what is the big deal? Why does it have to be such a big conspiracy? One of these days, we're gonna come across a big old clan of Bigfoot, and hopefully we handle it properly. And that's the problem right there. This has already happened. Patterson Gimlin, you want to talk about that? That's what happened. They ran into a clan. The loggers ran into a clan of Bigfoot, a tribe, and they were aggressively defending their forest. And that's where the whole Patterson Gimlin film came from. Was Patterson and Gimlin going to the location to film what was already being documented with the local police department. Yeah, there's a lot of creatures out there that are supposedly extinct. I mean, that guy, what's his name? Forrest, whatever, the big biologist guy. He's always on Joe Rogan and stuff. He just rediscovered the Tasmanian devil recently because it still exists. I don't know, Ryan. Don't get me started on Dogman, dude. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted with the subject, if I'm honest with you. Well, Randall, as you should. I mean, you gotta give these creatures space. You know, um, Sometimes the Native Americans discuss Sasquatch like it's their forest brothers. Other times they talk about Sasquatch as the forest beast, the one that comes and steals their women and children. So it depends on the creature, the species, the personality, etc. Yeah, Ryan, I keep getting these stories of Dogman and stuff like that, and I know that stories are often the best source of information. I know that. I know that if it weren't for stories, we wouldn't have any account of the Yetis from the Tibetan monks. It's all about the story. But I'm just I'm just so sick of the subject. It holds very little weight to me. And the ridiculous pictures that come out of the community, these blurry ass pictures that are they're just nothing. They're not there. And I'm just tired of it, man. I get, like I said, I'm exhausted with the subject. Yeah, you know what, Randall? If I'm honest, I'm far more scared of human beings that exist right now on Earth than I am of any sort of paranormal activity. You're a ghost and you're mad. You want to throw a pot across the room? Go for it. I mean, I'm not shook about that. Like where I work or worked. Sorry. I'm in the middle of a transition. Um, we're very close to a Native American burial mound, and I mean very close. And the whole property is right near the river, so you can imagine that, a couple hundred years ago, this was all occupied territory, And your Rico dog's in the house, scared of Dracula. Good for you, buddy. Good to admit that shit. So, the building that I worked in, it was very haunted. And I know that. I've had paranormal activity. I've had shit fly across the room, whatever. But here's the funny part, right? If I get there in the morning at 6:45, some months of the year, it's pitch black. And when I get out of the car and walk up to the door, I'm waiting for some asshole to hit me in the back of the head with something, to mug me, to take advantage of me, like whatever the case may be. So it's like I get the door open, I turn around, I lock the door, and I have this sense of just me and the demons, just me and my ghosts, my ghost buddies, and I, because I'm less scared of them than I am of whatever asshole's waiting outside to hit me over the head with something. Are we talking about the dog man there, Rico? Wow, that's some heavy shit, Randall. Yeah, well, at least it was just a butter knife, right? Okay, Rico. Yeah, I feel you, Rico. I mean, Washington, of course. There's got to be tons of activity up there. But I would have to agree with you that as of right now, no one has been able to prove the existence of Dogman. I'm waiting. I hope somebody proves me wrong one day. Prove me wrong. Somebody. I would love it. But as of right now, all we have is a bunch of stories. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me what the hell a dogman is. Like, everybody knows what a Sasquatch is. There's multiple things that a Sasquatch could be. Gigantopithecus, undocumented primate, whatever. But what the hell's a dogman? It's not a werewolf, right? So what is it? she was a real bitch, huh, Rico? Damn, Randall. That's the kind of shit you hear about, like, in movies and TV where they mix up the body. Yeah, I don't know, Ryan. I mean, like I said, I'm waiting. Maybe, you know, I'm waiting for somebody to get something decent out there in the world. Get something that's more than just a little bit of word of mouth. You know, like could it be that elusive of a creature? Well, yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I'm waiting for something more substantial. All right, sheepdog. So what you're talking about is basically a government engineered creature, a beast. You know, a dog, a canine that has, you know, the abilities to walk upright and who knows, you know, what else. So you're talking, and you know, this would fall back to the Mothman story. In Point Pleasant, West Virginia, there is what is believed to be an old government base that's underground, and people have actually filmed it. It's there, and they believe that that was the base that was used to create Mothman, because Mothman is only about what, like an 18-month story. You know, the sightings went for about 18 months, and then they believe that they caught whatever the hell had got loose, and they probably terminated it. So in that case, if Dogman was a thing, then it was created by the government, and like you say, would have the chips to where they can pull it back in whenever they want. That's an interesting theory. I mean, I don't know that there's a lot of meat on the bone there, but you think so? Or are people seeing harpy eagles and big birds and just calling them Mothman? I'm sick of everybody else having these sightings. I want to have some sightings myself. You know, Rico, that might save your life one day, dude. You know. You know, not one person has mentioned my new setup, and I'm starting to get my feelings hurt about it. You know, Christmas is over. Uncle Eddie's gone. Freddie the Yeti's gone. I had to do something. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Yeah, buddy, get back to work, and I'm gonna go check out your Skinwalker video soon. And if you feel like sharing pictures of your painting, we would be much interested. Okay, bud? Have a good night. I got to be honest with you, Rico. I'm not familiar with the name. I'd have to check him out and do a little research. I'm not really sure. Oh, okay. That guy, yeah. I've heard a little bit of that, honestly. Um, I spend a lot of time creating content, which leaves me less time to listen to content, and I know that they go hand in hand. They really do, but it's just that's the honesty behind it. There's a lot of stuff I wish I had time to get involved in, but I don't, and we are seriously kicking around the idea of starting a second channel that deals with true crime. And if I do that, then just like I said, I'll have a lot less time available. Well, yeah, we were just talking about that earlier. We're like, where do the lines get gray when it comes to I want to put out quality content that is legit, but I also want to make money doing this thing. And I think we were talking about someone else, but at some point when you just jump the shark and go completely off the deep end, people start to see that, all right, well, this is about money for you. And the problem with that is that they don't take any of your content seriously. At that point, if you slit your own throat and go for the money aspect, and you're willing to just say anything and do anything to make money on your channel, then the stuff that you did that was legitimate is now looked at sideways. Absolutely, Rico. That's just something I can't do. I got to keep it real. So hopefully people appreciate that without the extreme, weird content that some people are putting out. I just can't keep up with that kind of stuff, man. I really can't. These kids make me tired, man. right, y'all. I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate everybody for joining. I'll have to check those out, Rico. All right, I appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. I'm going to call it a night, though. We're going over about an hour and 40 minutes now, so I'm going to wind it down. But, please check out our videos. Hit us up. Feel free to contact. Feel free to email us at bigfootinput@gmail.com if you have anything that you need to say or send us or something we should see. Please do all that. If you feel like supporting our channel, you can click the little little super sticker, little super chat thing at the bottom of the thing here. It's all appreciated. We really appreciate that, and we're gonna keep cranking out content for you to watch, and we're gonna do this every other Friday evening at 8:30, and we will announce it ahead of time. All right. But until next time, this is J Mac, and I'm out.